Hey guys, this is Brevort, and we are back on the Let's Play world today. And today we are going to be building a raid farm. So we already have a raid farm built over there. We can actually head over to it. So it's very simple, but it's also really slow. The reason why is because it requires the pillagers to spawn around it, then they go into the water. They fall down on soul campfires, and then they die. And then there's a hopper down below that picks up their loot. And I made this farm because a lot of the big tutorials on YouTube have really complicated raid farms just for no real reason. They don't work that much better. So today, we're actually going to be making one that works better than the one down below us. But it's going to also be extremely simple to build, and you should be able to build it within like your first week of playing a Minecraft world. There might be sculk sensors. I'm not entirely sure yet how we're gonna actually turn on and off the water. But we've got this 5x5 platform here, which is all we really need for the raiders to spawn on. This block needs to be directly above where the villagers placed. It has to be south and east. But other than that, there's really no specific mechanics that this is relying off of that you need to know other than that. So these need to be blocks they can't spawn on, which is copper grates count as. And then these are blocks they can. Then we're going to have water in the trapdoors here, which will turn on once they spawn and get pushed down onto the magma blocks. That'll be just far enough to kill the witches. This is 30 blocks. And then any mobs that don't die from the fall damage will die on the magma blocks. So that would be like the Ravagers and anything that's riding the Ravagers. So let's go ahead and place all this glass down. So I've built this design twice before, but I've never tried it with tripwire hooks before. So I want to actually see if we can do this. Hopefully this doesn't cause any issues. All right, we've got all the glass placed. I actually do need to run home and get a little bit more glass before I continue on this. But we did get the, and it's raining too. We did get the column done, the dropping column thingy. And just like that, it is about done. We just need a villager onto that resin block right below me. And then we need a fletching table or any workstation. This seems to work just fine. When the string is activated, it pushes, the water flows, which pushes the mobs. And then once all the mobs fall, as long as this isn't activated for more than 15 seconds, this should work just fine. You're coming home with me. Okay, so we got the villager in place now. So now all we have to do is start a raid. And I forgot to bring any bad omen bottles with me. So let's just head to our local pillager outpost. And we'll grab a bottle here. Ideally, we'd get a bad omen 5. But if we don't, not a big deal. Okay, so I just made a backup of my world just in case anything goes horribly wrong. Because it did take a lot of work to get the villager in place. And we're going to start the raid now. So I think this should work. Yep, we got raid omen. All right. So the raid bar is filling up. Let's see if they spawn up top there. The only thing I'm worried about with the actual raiders is Vexes because they can spawn and then fly and hit the villager. But I don't think they'll spawn unless an evoker has line of sight. And it just failed. So that's interesting. There's a couple of reasons why that could have failed. My guess is it was the string. I'm guessing they just can't spawn on string. So let's go ahead and just break all the string. Okay, so if the string was the issue, let's try this again. All right, if this fails, I'm guessing it's the placement or the copper ball, but I'm more inclined to think it's the placement. Also, the wiki said that if they fail to spawn, it causes the player to have a defeat, but that didn't happen. It just didn't spawn anything. Oh, it was the string. Okay. So, let's wash away all the raiders now. I'm going to just put a button in. Oops. For now. And what we'll have to do is just use a sculk sensor to detect them spawning. You guys shouldn't be able to see me. There we go. So I'll just do this first wave manually. I'm going to put blocks here so that they don't accidentally see over top. Also, the copper grates along the outside are because they'll spawn in the middle of... They'll, like, spawn like that. But if it's a Ravager and it spawned on that block, they can glitch through the glass, which is obviously not good. So... Okay, so this is going to be a little bit tricky to show, but we've got a sculk sensor set up now, right below the center of the platform. This is going into a timer. Right now there's no items in it, but we're going to put 18 items in. This sensor is calibrated to a signal strength of 2, and then that goes into that torch up there, which goes up to the trapdoors above, which will let the water out. So let's put in these items. I'm going to get rid of these blocks. For some reason it's open. Why is it open? Okay, there we go. So let's see how it works. If you're sneaking, it won't trigger, but if the raiders spawn in, it lets the water out, and it'll push them to the edge. They go over the trapdoors, and they should fall down. It is a good bit of time, but hopefully it's not too long. I don't think it'll be too long. That's honestly probably longer than it needs to be, but as long as it's shorter than 15 seconds, it should be fine. Oh, and also items falling will trigger it, but there shouldn't be any items falling. Also, there's a single piece of string there. I wonder if maybe all of this area doesn't need to be covered by solid blocks, or if we can get them to a single spot. Because that single... Oh, actually, I think it was above the grate, so it wouldn't have mattered, because... the grates they don't spawn on. I was trying to explain it before, but I didn't explain it very well. If they if the glass is right up next to this here, if the Ravager or if any of the raiders spawn here, when they move, the Ravager can get nudged into this block and will get pushed out the side. So this is like a padding that prevents that because they don't spawn on the grates. So they'll spawn like here, and then the Ravager has enough room to not get pushed into the block. Why they can get pushed into blocks is beyond me, but whatever. All right, so I think the contraption should be set up now. So let's drink the potion and see if we get if the raiders automatically get pushed off the platform or if there's any problems. Actually, I'm gonna fly up there just to make sure, just so I can watch from a little bit closer. All right. Looks perfect. All right. Now we got to just make sure the water is gone before the next batch spawn in. Oh yeah, look at that. Plenty of time. Oh, I didn't think of that. There is a little bit of time that it takes the water to dry up, but it seems like that's not a problem because it takes some time for the mobs to fall. All right, so the Ravagers don't die in one hit. You can see them down there. But I think actually we should switch this out with soul campfires because it does twice as much damage to them. Or else we can have like a lava blade over there that they get caught in, because I don't even care if the saddles get lost. So I honestly feel like a lot of farms these days go for just like really needlessly complex mechanics that is just frustrating to more casual players, if including me. I mean, I wouldn't even call myself casual, but if I'm making a farm, I want to understand the base mechanics behind it. And when I see a crazy raid farm with all kinds of weird stuff, I don't understand the base mechanics, and it turns me off from even using that as inspiration. Like, from even, because I just don't understand what's happening. But when I know the simple mechanics, like all you need really for a raid farm is a 5x5 area that's orientated southeast over top of a villager, then it's so much easier to come up with your own design. And I hope that this can inspire you to make your own farms as well, to simplify more crazy farms in favor of farms that are a lot simpler. And we're going to be referring to this raid farm as Occam's raid farm because it is a reference to Occam's razor, which is the principle in philosophy that the simplest method or the simplest solution to something is most often the correct one. Specifically, the other day, I was looking into, well, I was kind of considering taking a bit of a break from YouTube in January, and I was looking into why a lot of big creators take a break in January, and there's a lot of like statistics and stuff, which, you know, is really fascinating to me. But I couldn't help thinking that it was just kind of suspicious. Like, it just seemed too specific and that it had to be something simpler. And then it dawned on me that January is the beginning of winter and it's right after the holidays. So it's just really gloomy. You know what I mean? It's very, there's not a lot of sunlight. The weather's awful, especially if you're near the 45th parallel or north of that, like I am. Then it's just like, you know, it's not a good time. So while these big creators were like, yeah, you should take a break in January because, you know, like the YouTube viewership is down. And I was looking into it and I'm like, yeah, but that's not the case for most types of content outside of like cooking and holiday stuff, like shopping, you know, maybe. The viewership doesn't decline that drastically in January. What does decline is the ad money that large creators are making, but with small creators that doesn't matter as much. So I thought that was really interesting that a lot of or at all if you're not making money from YouTube. So it's like, well, now you've got this space and time where YouTube is, hey, we did it. Victory. Okay. You've got the time and space where a lot of YouTubers are taking a break because they're burnt out just because it's winter time. But you also don't have that low of viewership. So it's kind of like, as long as you're not yourself burnt out, and I just recently got over a period of burnout, but I'm not currently burnt out. It's a great time to be making content as a small creator in January and early February because there's less competition from large channels. There's not a lack of viewers on the platform as there might be in like summer months when people are spending more time outside and less time. Oh, we don't even need to do hoppers here. We can, or a minecart hopper. We could just do a bunch of hoppers because the campfires are less than a full block. So I'd say it really pays to check your facts. Don't just go along with what people are saying. Just because you see an article that says lots of big creators are taking a break, you should too, does not mean that you should. If you're not feeling burnt out, I don't think it's ever a good time to take a break. If you're feeling burnt out though, then that's fine if you do need to take a break. And that can be in January. So don't let me saying, oh, don't take a break in January stop you from if you need it for your own well-being. I feel like the first guy that spawns is always a raid captain. Like, I doubt that's the case, but it just feels that way. Okay, so I just put a chest in down there, and I want to see if all the loot gets picked up by it. I can't imagine it doesn't, but let's see how this goes. It should also be a little faster now because we have soul campfires instead of magma blocks. So when the Ravagers don't die, now they'll die twice as fast. So yeah, what I was saying, Occam's razor also applies to that whole ordeal of like why YouTubers are taking a break, why lots of big YouTubers are encouraging it. It's not because of complex viewership trends or CPM trends. It's all because of it's wintertime, and that's it's the most gloomy time of the year. So lots of people are burnt out. And on the flip side, there's a lot more creators going crazy in the summer, even when there's lower viewership, because it's when it's nice outside and there's lots and lots of inspiration. All right, here's our first Ravager. I want to watch the bar go down. Yeah, it's going down considerably faster than it was before. It's literally twice as fast. Oh geez, they came towards me though, that was scary. Oh, wait, they're fighting the current too. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. This has never happened before. Okay. Well, them bobbing up and down reactivated the water, so that's good. Oh my goodness. You're kidding me. Okay, I wonder why this has happened, and I wonder if I should add more time to the clock. There we go. Jeez. All right. That was a level 5 raid. So let's see if how much stuff we got. Okay, we got 8 totems, 7 saddles, 47 redstone. That's crazy. Whoa, okay. I wasn't expecting that much redstone. There must have been 8 waves because there's 8 ominous banners in here. Also, I noticed the color is yellow now. It used to be orange before. Did they change that? Or is that a bug? All right, so I headed back to base now, and this is, it looks like a dead tree, but it's actually what happens if you take all the leaves off a fancy tree. One of the fancy oaks, like, I don't see any around here, like that one over there. So it's a ways away, maybe that one. But yeah, we're gonna chop this down. But if you ever need to make a dead looking tree, you can just try to grow a fancy oak and then cut all the leaves off it. And then if you replace it with like spruce or dark oak, it looks really good. But what we are going to be doing is we are going to be reworking the shoreline up here, or the riverbank, I guess it is. So I'd planted a bunch of random trees along it, and I was kind of hoping, in real life, a lot of times you see like a bunch of trees along a riverbank, just like this, but they look different from this. This isn't really the vibe it's going for, and it kind of looks weird because the trees aren't very tall compared to like the width of the river here. So in order to fix that, we're going to go ahead and make some custom trees. So I've got a plan for how we're going to do that. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to use birch wood, and then we're going to use oak leaves, because there's a couple of reasons we want to use oak leaves. For one, it just kind of matches the biome better, but for two, the leaves cover more and they look more bushy, I guess. So that is why we are going to be using those. And we need to kind of make a star shape around this. I think we're going to need to go up. And then kind of do a pattern like this. And then we'll do like a big square here. And then... Ooh, that looks decent. So yeah, I noticed that they tend to be like tall, slender trees with the branches that don't bush out a ton. And I think this looks really good. The birchwood looks really good with this grass, and then the leaves look pretty good as well. And then we can do kind of like a checkerboard of these so that there's some that are more inset than others. So like maybe we put the next one like here. We don't want them to touch, but I think this should be fine. All right, so we got all the trees in place. We've got kind of like a line of them along the bank here, and it's kind of thick, but not too thick. If we go up in the air, we could see what it looks like from above. I think it does capture what I'm going for quite well, like the trees along the riverbank. So I really like how that looks. And then if we look at it from the riverside, it also looks really good. I wonder if we should move this bridge, not today, but maybe in the future, because if I ever try to ride a boat through here, there's no way to get through here. So this river is a giant loop, though, so it does just circle back around eventually. As you can see, it kind of connects back over there. And that goes past this hill here, and it comes back around. So yeah. So it's not super pertinent that we make the bridge higher, but if we do, it would help it so that I'd be able to ride a boat here again. So that would be good to do. All right, so today's comment of the day says, fence gates are good to use in the nether. So yes, they are. We are going to do that. So last episode, I was talking about how the zombie pigmen kept breaking down the doors. I thought it was, so for this door, they don't try to come in here unless it's specifically to this block, right? I got that kind of confused with the other door, and thought that they wouldn't try to come in here, but they can try to come in here. So we're going to put in a fence gate here and one here for now, until we get something better. I don't know if there is anything better. An iron door might be fine here as well. I was considering putting an iron door here, but honestly, fence gates are fine. But anyways, guys, that is about it for this one. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have yourselves an amazing day, and goodbye.